Okay, let's go to the final question of the evening. We have Claudia in Romulus writing in, and she writes in, my husband was buying a home on land contract and he passed away 3 months ago. I'm so sorry, Claudia. I have since sent in payments to the seller after my husband's death, but last week the seller sent back the payments claiming that the contract is now expired because of my husband's death. He told me he is listing the property with an agent even though my husband and I have been at the home for almost 10 years. What should I do? From Claudia in Romulus.
Okay, there's two parts to this question. I told you normally I don't really, we get a lot of calls every day and every week, and the clerks take down what they think are the good questions or interesting questions, and we put them out here. This one I actually know the resolution of because this one I was involved in. So I'll tell you that's the second part. But the first part is, it kind of goes on along the lines, if you're watching this and you know how our questions are broken up, you need to listen to question number, I guess it would be number 6 in this segment. And that is the land contract. Here we have a land contract seller trying to pull the deal out from underneath this lady to be able to turn around and sell it for more. That's exactly what this is. This is crazy. Okay, so here's the thing. Everything in contract, anything in real estate has contractual provisions if the contract's supposed to last over a year. Any valid any valid contract in real estate that involves a transaction that is not going to expire within a year's period has to be in writing. Okay, got that? It's called the statute of frauds. And this land contract is in writing, and so we'll have provisions in it as to what happens if somebody doesn't make a payment? What happens if somebody wants to assign a land contract? There's a million different provisions that you can put in a contract, right? But in this contract, and I've seen this once, so usually I say send in the contract. This one actually has a provision in there that says, that the terms of this contract inure to the benefit of both parties, heirs.
Okay.
Stop it there. Okay. Or beneficiaries. So guess what? This lady is an heir to her husband's estate. She wasn't on it, and that may be, again, how did she come to the property, or how did she come to the marriage? He could have had this underlying contract before she married him. But regardless, in the actual contract, it said that the beneficiaries of either estate have the right to continue with the contract. So let me give you another example. Let's pretend the seller on this deal is the one who died. Well, his heirs have the right to enforce the contract and collect the payments from the buyer. In this situation, the buyer died. Well, his heirs have the right to continue making the payments under the contract. The contract isn't void. And so here's what happened. When we got the contract, this took seriously 20 minutes of my time. And the lady was really, hi Claudia, if you're watching, I'll send you a video of this one, Claudia. So Claudia actually sent me this contract. We reviewed it. I found the area. We didn't have to involve an attorney. It was so quick. I basically picked up the phone, we found the realtor that the seller wouldn't return a call, but the seller did list the property. Okay?
Right, okay.
And wouldn't return her calls, but we found the realtor because they listed the property. We called them and I said, hey, I represent so-and-so, Claudia, here is your problem. I want you to be aware. And they didn't know. The agent was like, oh, I wasn't aware. I thought it was this.
Sure, sure.
And we understand that. And so it was a very polite conversation. And it's kind of funny. There were a couple other comments, but in general, the lady was, the listing agent was as nice as could be. And she's like, I will tell him immediately. And seriously, before the end of the day, we had a letter from her saying that I basically have, extinguished, we've withdrawn the listing and we're sending this over, Mr. Sobel, and we're done. And then I, of course, got a call right after that from the seller.
Right.
And who was a little upset, but when I explained to him what was going on, how it works, the first question is, did you have an attorney draft this contract for you? And he's like, no. I'm like, well, there you go. Because had you had it, you may have put in a different provision.
Right.
You could have still had a provision that said, if I die, my heirs and my beneficiaries still get to enforce this contract. You didn't have to include the buyer, but you did.
And
Okay,
since you did.
Yeah.
Mhm.
And so since you did, there you go. Now, one more thing I want to share with you on that. She did pay it down substantially, significantly. There's a reason why it said she's been there for 10 years. This is
Right.
okay. That email or that question is basically based on an email that she made to us through our website at provenresource.com. That's how she reached out to us. That 10-year point is very important because she had paid a significant amount down, or her husband had paid
Sure.
over 50% of the value of the purchase price was paid down. And in the law, if you were even to go and forfeit out a land contract, they paid out over 50% of the balance. The redemption period is doubled or extended from 3 months to 6 months. It doesn't do anything. This guy can't, he could go to forfeit the property or forfeit the land contract. They still have a right to pay it off.
Okay.
They'd have 6 months, not 3 months.
Okay.
They paid down the balance by more than 50%.
In that scenario, I'm just asking, this is like my own selfish question now, self-serving question. So in that scenario, when a land contract goes into a redemption period, because I don't know anything about that, I just know about traditional mortgages.
Sure.
Could the buyer then, if it was paid down to that significant point, could they just go refinance? Like, say they could qualify for financing with an institutional lender.
Yeah.
Could during that redemption period, couldn't they just go potentially get it refinanced?
Yeah, probably not with a bank because forfeiture will indicate to a banker that there is most likely a non-monetary. Most likely it's late. Most likely a monetary default.
Okay.
So the reason why they're in forfeiture is they weren't making a payment. So you'd have to explain. You probably go to a smaller institution like a credit union.
Okay.
That's why I love to deal with community banks, because you can go to a credit union or a community bank and explain what it is. And in her situation, let's say she wanted to refinance, and let's say they were in a forfeiture. A larger institution might say, well, wait a minute. No, you're in forfeiture. We don't do anything with forfeitures.
Sure.
We automatically assume that you are in default to your payment. That's why you're in court. No, but if you have the opportunity to explain to a lender, no, I'm here only because it's not a material default. They're taking me to court because they believe the contract's expired because of X, because of my husband passing away. And I have, in this situation, I have the right to pay it off. So yeah, they could go refinance that, definitely. Okay. Yeah.
I don't know, that was just like a little random curious.
No, it's really helpful.
Curious trail my brain went down.
You'd be shocked at people, there's so many people who, Blair, there's so many people, unfortunately, that don't do anything. They're afraid to talk to people. They're not sure. They don't want to air their dirty laundry. They think it's too late. They've listened to chitter chatter on the internet or from their friends who are Facebook attorneys, and they don't really know. I mean, I know that within the past week there was somebody who called me on a matter. In fact, I do know who called me on a matter to tell me the situation. The first thing she said was, I talked to my sister who does blah, blah, blah. She's a paralegal here, and she says it can't be done. And I'm like, send me over your paperwork, and we look at this stuff. I'm like, guess what? It's not 100% because we can never guarantee 100% to anybody, but you actually have, rights here, So, but people are afraid. I always say that only like 10% of the people, when they have a problem, pick up the phone and call. The other 90% let other people walk and ride all over them. So that's why these are so helpful. That's why I always appreciate when we do these. I know that, the questions are usually geared towards real estate investors, but there's so much in here that just deals with everyday real estate transactions,
Well, and lately, just due to COVID, people have come into just different distressful situations. Either you know, they themselves or someone on the other end is in a distressful situation. So there's just a lot of like general homeowner, home buyer questions that we've seen in the last year as well.
Right.
So it's not just been so investment side focused.
Right.
These have been great.
A lot of probate issues with real
Mhm.
estate right now. I've probably 30% of our calls are probate and real estate. So yeah.
Okay.
Great.
Well, it was a
Good.
great session. So thank you to everyone who watched. We appreciate you tuning in. If this is your first time watching and you have questions for David and you'd like to learn how to get a hold of him, David, tell the folks at home,
Okay.
how can they reach your team?
Or what do they win? I feel like you're in the Price is Right.
Right.
It's easy. You can go right in your URL on the browser. Just type my name, lawyer, you know, David Sobel, lawyer, real estate law, and I'll pop up. But a quicker way is just to call us at 888-789-1715, or you can go to our website, provenresource.com, and that's the easiest way, Blair.
Okay.
And that's it. But you know, before we go, just tell everybody quickly how we met and the group that we kind of work with here.
Yeah, so if you are a real estate investor or you would like to get into real estate investing, David and I met a few years ago in a real estate investor networking group, which is a mouthful. So that group's name is called Michigan Real Estate Investor Network, and we're both very active in the Facebook group. It's a free group, but you have to join to, you know, be in the group. We've been doing everything virtually due to COVID for the last year. So we have a lot of workshops and networking meetups, etc. And they all used to be in person, but now we're doing those all virtual and online until we can get together in person. So if you have been just like looking for some sort of networking avenue, but you're still not able to get together in person, we do publish a lot of networking content, educational content, etc. And David's really active in there. So if you'd like to connect with him in there, just go to Facebook, search Michigan Real Estate Investor Network. And then if you'd like to see the episodes of the podcast that David has been on, just go to MichiganREINetwork.com. David creates a lot of content for that specific group as well. And that's all real estate investor focused. And it's really how I've learned the majority of what I am, the things that I'm doing in my business and the people that I meet. Like it's just been huge and key and instrumental. And so it's a good place to be.
Yeah, you're a great student. That's for sure.
Thanks.
So you're a successful student.
I'm a successful student. That's right.
There you go.
That's right.
Anyways, so that's it until what? A couple weeks?
All right. We will see you guys again in a couple weeks. Thanks, David. Appreciate your time.
Thank you, Blair.
Okay. All right. Have a good night.
Okay.